Hello everyone and welcome to the Smart Commute webinar on Presto. Thank you to those who are just staying with us while some other people joined the webinar today. My name is Stuart. I work for the Smart Commute team that looks after Vaughan, and I'm joined by my colleague Caitlin today. And I know we have people joining us from across York region, or from across the Smart Commute program in York region today as well. I also want to thank a couple of special guests that we have with us today. We have Richard Wiseman joining us from York Region Transit, and we have Heather Brown from the TTC. Both Heather and Richard will be around later on to give us an update on Presto and their respective transit systems, as well as to answer any questions that you might have about using Presto on both of their systems. In regards to questions, feel free to send them in throughout the webinar. We will be taking questions at the end. But to send in a question, you have a GoToWebinar panel that should be on your screen, and there should be a questions drop-down box. So if you have any questions at any time, type them into that question panel, that question drop-down, and we will pick them up and we'll be answering them at the end. So now this is a really good time, or exciting time, to be using transit in York region, because just back in December, we had the opening of the TTC subway extension in York region, and it's the first time that the TTC subway has made it into York region. So 6 stops were added to line 1, going from Shepherd West Station, formerly Downsview, all the way up to Vaughan Metropolitan Centre. And Vaughan Metropolitan Centre connects to YRT's Viva bus rapid transit along the Rapid Way, along Highway 7. There's connections to Go Transit as well, through the Go Barry line at Downsview Park Station, and Go buses at Highway 407 Station, for example. So you can get on all those systems, TTC, YRT, Go Transit, and so on with Presto. And so this is a great time as well to be looking at Presto and learning more about it. So if you're someone who's new to Presto, you've never used it before, you don't have a card, you've heard that you have to tap, but you don't know when to tap, when not to tap, or maybe you're someone who's used Presto a few times, but you don't know how to transfer between different systems, such as between YRT and TTC, then this webinar is hopefully going to be for you and going to answer all those questions for you. So what we'll be covering today, well, we'll be covering, for starters, what is Presto, then how to buy and load your card, how to manage your account on an ongoing basis, then how to use Presto on YRT Viva, other local transit, and on Go Transit. We'll also be talking about how to transfer between transit services, and then we'll be hearing, as I mentioned, from both Richard and Heather about Presto on their respective transit systems. So what is Presto? It's basically an electronic payment system that replaces tickets, tokens, passes, and cash. In other words, it's a smart card. And it works with all 11 transit agencies in the Greater Toronto and Hamilton area and in Ottawa. So you can use it on York Region Transit, you can use it on the TTC, you can use it on Go Transit, My Way in Mississauga, Brampton Transit, and so on. And this brings a number of benefits. So as you just highlighted, there is no need to carry tickets, tokens, passes, or cash. So for example, if you're taking YRT and a TTC in one journey, you don't need to carry a YRT ticket, for example, and a TTC token or Metro Pass. You can cover all of these fares just through your Presto card. And so therefore, Presto is fully integrated across local transit in the GTHA and on Go Transit. You also get balance protection. So if your Presto card is registered, and we'll be talking about how to register your card later on, it means that if you were to lose your card, so for example, if it has $20 on it and you misplaced it, you lose it, you get a replacement card, then that $20 will still be available on your new card. The balance doesn't expire either. So again, let's say you have $20 on your Presto card, but you don't use it for a couple of weeks or a month. You come back to using Presto and taking transit, that $20, that balance on your card is still going to be there. And it also comes with an auto-load capability. And so this basically means that you're always going to have the funds available on your card to be able to get onto transit. You're always going to be able to pay for your fare. So this is a really good sort of peace of mind element or function of the Presto card, and we'll be talking later about how to set that up. You're also eligible for fare discounts with participating transit services. So to give you some examples, for starters, paying with Presto for your fare on TTC or YRT is cheaper than paying for the cash fare. And likewise, if you're going on Go Transit, it's also cheaper to pay with Presto than it is to just buy a Go Transit ticket. So that's some background to the Presto card. How do you get hold of one if you haven't got one already? So to purchase a Presto card, you can go online at prestocard.ca, which is the official Presto website, and you can purchase it online there, and it'll get it delivered to your house. You can purchase from select YRT, Viva, Presto fare agents, and you can see a list of these fare agents at the link on the bottom right corner of the screen there. We will be sharing slides of this webinar afterwards with all attendees, so don't feel the need to write down that link. You can purchase from Go stations, from Presto fare vending machines, which are available at the new subway stations on that Line 1 extension, from gateway newsstands, which you can typically find at TTC subway stations, or by calling Presto at that number on the screen. So when you're purchasing a new card, how much is it going to cost you? Well, a new Presto card costs $6 no matter who or where you're buying it from. And you must load a minimum of $10 and or a monthly transit pass when purchasing your card online. So for example, if you're purchasing a minimum of $10, it's going to cost you $16. $10 for the transit fare and $6 for the card itself. In some select customer service outlets, you can also purchase $20 preloaded Presto cards, and this breaks down so that $6 of that $20 is the fee for the card, and the remaining $14 is your transit fare. On the right there are the two different designs of Presto card that are currently in circulation. The green design is the older design which has been in place since Presto launched, and the black design is one which launched in September, October time last year. Both cards work exactly the same. There's no difference in them other than the way they look. So when you go to purchase a Presto card, you might get a green one, you might get a black one, but it doesn't matter. They work exactly the same. So now you've purchased your Presto card, what fare products are available for you? Well, if you're looking for monthly travel, unlimited monthly travel, then the options are getting an adult monthly pass. That costs $145. Or you can purchase an express monthly pass, which costs $166. An express monthly pass gets you an express YRT services, which are labelled as the 300 series routes in York region. So these operate during rush hour, and they're perfect for busy commuters as they have limited stops as they are the express service. There's also senior, youth and child rates available if you need them. If you're looking to purchase a single trip on York Region Transit, then that will cost $3.63, and that's the adult fare. Again, we have a link on the screen, so if you need more information, please follow that link when we share the slides after this webinar today, and you'll be able to check out all the details about fares and passes in York Region. If you're looking to purchase one of those YRT Viva monthly passes on Presto through the prestocard.ca website or select fare agents, then you can do it from the 18th of each month. So to give you an example, if you're looking to purchase a March monthly pass, then it will be available from the 18th of February. If you're looking to buy an April pass, then it will be available from the 18th of March, and so on. And if you're a senior, you must have your card type set to a senior fare type. So you purchased your Presto card, you have put some funds on it, you used it a few times, you want to manage your account on an ongoing basis. So I really recommend that you register your card online, and this gives you the ability to protect your balance. As we mentioned before, if you were to lose your card and you get a replacement card, you can get that balance transferred to your new card. You can set up auto-load, and so this is something I really recommend if you're using transits a lot, and if Presto is your main way of paying your transit fare. So to give you an example of how this works, I'll use my own personal Presto card as an example. So how I have it set up is that when the balance on my Presto account drops below $10, it automatically tops up with $20 via my credit card. So that means that I always can ensure that whenever I try to get on a Go Transit vehicle or YRT bus or TTC vehicle, that I'm going to have enough fare or enough balance funds on my Presto card to be able to get onto that transit system. You can also obtain a transit usage report and keep a record of transaction history. So these are great, for example, if you're looking to make expense claims with your employer, for example. So to load your card after you initially purchased it, you can do this either with auto load, as we just talked about. Just to reiterate, this is something that I really recommend if you're using Presto a lot. Or you can do it as needed at prestocard.ca. Select YRT Viva customer service outlets, Go stations, self-serve reload machines that you can find at most subway stations, or by phone on that number on screen. The self-serve reload machines look like that green box you can see on the screen, or I believe at some of the newer subway stations they may be grey in appearance. If you're loading a card online, there may be a 24-hour waiting period. But if you're loading your card through auto-load or self-serve reload machines, the balance is going to be available in your account immediately. So you've got your card, you've used it a few times, you've put some more funds on it. Now you want to be able to check your balance, see how many funds you've got on there. So you can do this anywhere you load your card. You can do it online. You can do it at balance checker devices. You can find these at Go stations and some local transit operators only. But just please note, as with the loading of your card, it can take up to 24 hours for your balance to update, and this just takes into account the fact that maybe you've been using your card a lot during one day for many trips, or you've recently loaded some new funds on it through the Presto website. So that gives you some background on purchasing your card, using it, topping it up, and I'm going to hand over to Caitlin, who's going to show you the Presto website.
Thanks, Stuart. So the Presto website is a great place to register your card and to manage all of your account activity. So I'll just give you a quick overview of the main features of the Presto website. You can access the website at prestocard.ca. I'm just going to sign in using my own account to show you how it works. So right from the landing page, you can see that you can easily check your balance from this page. You also have the option to load your card. And there are two ways that you can load funds onto your Presto card. You can add a set amount of funds using this drop-down menu here. Again, the minimum amount you can load is $10. If you'd prefer to add a monthly transit pass to use for unlimited travel, you can also do that here. And you can see that there are now several transit agencies that offer a monthly pass on Presto. Another feature to point out on the website is the auto load setting. So as Stuart mentioned, auto load is a great way to ensure that you always have money on your card when you need it. You can see that my auto load is set to load $50 onto my card whenever the balance drops below $20. And you can easily change those settings right from the website here. To view your card activity, you would click here. You can see that your card activity is laid out by transit agency, by location, by date, and you can easily filter to see the activity that you need. So this is a great way to really manage your transactions and stay on top of your account. You can also, at the bottom, you can print out your card activity report, or you can export it to a CSV file. If you need a more formal transit usage report, you can download that from this section of the website. And one other important feature is the report a lost card. So if your card is lost or stolen, you report that here, and you can select your preferences for how to transfer your balance to the new card. So those are the main features of the website. We'll just go back to the presentation now to talk a little bit more about how Presto works. So you can now use Presto on all YRT and Viva buses in York Region. You can also use Presto on the new TTC subway extension. So how does it work? Well, if you're taking a YRT bus, you would tap your card on the card reader that's located on board the bus near the driver. So you would tap there when you board. That's the picture on the left. If you're taking a Viva bus, there are not card readers on the buses, so you need to tap before you board. And you can tap at a Viva station, that's the picture in the middle there, and wait in the fare paid zone until you board the bus. If you are riding the new subway, you can see to the far right there are new Presto fare gates at all new subway stations. So you would tap your card there when you're entering the subway system. And it's important to remember you do not need to tap off when you're exiting the bus or the subway. You just need to tap on. So how do transfers work? Well, in York Region, there is a time-based transfer. So your transfer is valid for 2 hours for trips in any direction. So how that works is you would tap the fare payment device when you board your first vehicle, and you don't need to take a paper transfer. The Presto system will automatically work out your transfers for you. When you exit your first vehicle, you don't need to tap off. All you need to do is tap the card reader at your next transfer point, and as long as you're within that 2-hour travel window, you will not be charged a second fare. So if you're connecting from other transit services to YRT or Viva, transfers are accepted from several other transit agencies in the region. So you can check the website for details. I just wanted to point out that for the TTC, it does work a little bit differently. So there are still some TTC buses that operate in York Region. And on these buses, you do need to pay a second fare if you're crossing Steeles Avenue. So how that works is you can use your Presto card to pay the TTC portion of your fare on those buses in Toronto. When you cross north of Steeles into York Region, you do need to pay a second fare, a YRT Viva fare, and at this time, you're not able to use your Presto card, so you do need to carry an alternative payment method. You can pay that second fare with the YRT Viva Pay app, with cash, tickets, or a TTC fare plus a cash supplement. So with the opening of the Line 1 subway extension, there have been some changes to some TTC bus routes in York Region. Some TTC routes have been replaced by YRT service north of Steeles. Those buses are the 35 Jane, the Dufferin North, the Kiel North bus, and the Weston bus. Those have all been replaced by YRT Viva service. So if you're using those routes, or you were using those routes, you can check the TTC website for details about changes. So as Stuart mentioned, this is a really exciting time for transit in York Region. The Line 1 subway extension really brings a lot more connection and gives you a lot more options as a commuter for how you get around the region. So the Line 1 subway extension extends north from Shepherd West Station, that was formerly Downsview Station, all the way up to the Vaughan Metropolitan Center, and that's located at Highway 7 and Jane Street. So there are 6 new stations. They're all fully equipped for Presto, and they're all fully accessible. There'll be a very high level of service. There'll be trains operating every 2 to 5 minutes, depending on what time of day you're traveling. If you're looking to access these stations, there are commuter parking lots available at 3 of these new stations. Finch West, Pioneer Village, and Highway 407 all have commuter parking lots. An even better way to access these stations is by taking transit. And there are several bus routes that serve each station, so you can check out the YRT Viva website to see what your options are for getting to these stations. So how do you pay your fare on the subway in York Region? So as I mentioned, all these new stations are equipped for Presto. You can use your Presto card, and you will be paying a TTC fare when you board the subway, even if you're boarding in York Region. If you're transferring to a YRT or Viva bus, you do still need to pay that second fare, and you can also use your Presto card to do that. You cannot use the YRT Viva Pay app when you're boarding the subway in York Region. So a Presto card is a great way to pay your subway fare. So we'll just talk a little bit now about using Presto on GO Transit. So Presto is really widely integrated throughout the GO network. You can use it on all GO trains and all GO buses. It's a very easy and convenient way to travel, makes transferring very smooth, and it really saves you time. It eliminates the need to wait in those long lines to buy tickets. You can simply load the money onto your card, tap the reader, and you're good to go. So how does Presto work on GO Transit? It is a little bit different than using it on local transit. The most important thing to remember is that you need to tap on when you're boarding, but you also need to tap off when you exit the bus or train. If you don't tap off, the Presto system will assume that you've gone to the end of the line and you'll be charged a fare equivalent to the end of the line. So it's really important to remember to tap off when you exit, so you're only charged for the distance that you've traveled. For buses, you would tap inside the bus. There's a card reader located inside the bus. So you would tap there when you board the bus and tap again when you exit. For trains, they do not have card readers located on board trains. So you need to tap your card either inside the station or on the platform. If you are a post-secondary student that uses GO Transit, there is a discount available for Presto users. How that works is you first need to get a GO Transit approved student ID. And this could either come from your school or you may need to get one issued by GO Transit directly. You can check the website listed to see what kind of ID that you need. After you've got that student ID, you can have your Presto card set to a student concession, and that means that every time you tap your card on GO Transit, you're saving at least 18% on your trips. And this discount is available to registered full-time students. There are some great co-fares available between GO and local transit. So if you're in York Region, there's the YRT Viva Ride to Go program. That allows you to pay just $1 for your YRT Viva fare when you're connecting to GO Transit. In Toronto, there's also now a new co-fare between the TTC and GO. So you pay $1.50 on your TTC fare when you're connecting with GO. And that discount is only available to Presto users. So that's another great reason to pick up a Presto card. So if you'd like to learn more about how Presto works, there's some great resources available online. For further information, you can check out the Presto YouTube channel. YRT Viva has some very helpful Presto web pages. GO Transit also has a YouTube channel, and the TTC has some very informative Presto web pages as well. So please visit those for more information.
Okay, thank you, Caitlin. So that's the end of our part. We're going to hear now from both YRT and the TTC about their Presto from their point of view. So I'm going to hand over to Richard Wiseman first from YRT. Richard, you should be unmuted, and so everyone should be able to hear you.
Okay, good afternoon. Thank you so much. Great information. Everything is there. It sounds a lot like you need to know everything, but most commuters just need to know their routes. So it's such a great overview of all the transit agencies, how you use it. But what we find is that if you're just using YRT and another local service, that Presto card really makes it so much easier. You don't lose your transfer. You get the best available rate. So it's really good to look at Presto. The other element that we have is the mobile app. We encourage if you lose your Presto card or you're sharing your Presto card, and all of a sudden there's a need for you to use just the YRT system, the mobile pay app is your backup. You can buy one ticket at a time, so you get the same rate as a Presto card, and it's available through the platform of your phone. So if you have your phone, you can get on your way. So that's pretty much it I have to say about Presto. I'm here afterwards to answer questions. There's lots of ways to get a Presto card, and please always give yourself time with Presto. So always look at your projected trip when you're looking to do your trip, and plan accordingly. So having the auto load set up is really good advice. And knowing locations where if you need to go in person to get your card topped up right away, when it's done in person, it's done right away. So knowing these kind of things are really good commuter advice. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Richard. So going to hand over now to Heather Brown from the TTC for to give the TTC's point of view on it all.
Perfect. So Presto is available at the TTC on all of our streetcars, on all of our TTC buses, except for the ones that travel north of Steeles. Even though there are the card readers there, we haven't activated the ability for Presto card users who are traveling into YRT north of Steeles on a TTC bus to be able to pay their fare with Presto. We also have Presto on our Wheel-Trans buses and accessible taxis. We're working with Presto to have a solution available on our sedan taxis, the contracted sedan taxis that we have with Wheel-Trans. And Presto is, of course, available at least one entrance of every subway station. By early this summer, we will have Presto at every single entrance of our stations, along with our new modern fare gates that you may have seen across the system, particularly at the new YRT station, the new Line 1 extension stations. Just to build off a few things around where to get a card, in addition to all the places that have been mentioned, there are 93 Shoppers Drug Mart locations in Toronto that sell Presto cards. Customers can go and check their balance there. They can load money. They can load a TTC pass, a monthly pass there. They can set concessions, do everything that you would do at some of the other locations. But the Shoppers Drug Mart is a new place that Presto has added as a place for people to get cards. And then we, throughout the course of this year, will be adding Presto fare vending machines at every subway station entrance, as well as more self-serve reload machines to our subway station entrances, making it easier for customers to buy a card right at the entrance that they enter at the subway station, but also to load money if you didn't set up an auto load agreement on your card. So that's a quick snapshot of where Presto is in the TTC right now.
Okay, thank you very much, Heather. So moving on to questions now. So I can see we've had a number of questions have come in throughout the webinar. If there's a question which you have but you haven't sent in yet, then please do send it in now, and we'll try our best to get around to it and to answer it. So the very first question we have, and I'm going to unmute Richard Wiseman as well, so we'll be able to hear from both Heather, Richard, and us here at Smart Commute. The first question we have is, how do you load a Presto card if you don't have a credit card?
Well, it's Heather from the TTC. One place that a customer can go to is, if they're in Toronto, they can go to one of the Shoppers Drug Mart locations. You can also go to one of the Presto customer service outlets, like a Go kiosk or Go customer service outlet. They can come to the Davisville Customer Service Center, and the new Presto fare vending machines in the Line 1 extension stations, including Shepherd West and Wilson, do accept cash as well. So once we get those fully rolled out across our system, every subway station entrance will have a machine that customers can use to load their card or purchase their card with cash.
Thanks, Heather. Richard, anything to add from your region transit point of view?
No, that's exactly it. There's lots of locations. We have some retail locations and libraries, etc., that can handle the cash reloads.
Okay, great. Thank you both. The second question we had, I think Heather actually answered it in her update. The question was, is Presto fully rolled out on all TTC buses? If not, when can we expect the rollout? Heather, you told us that it's available on all TTC buses except those which travel north of Steeles.
Yes, so we hope to have the ability to have Presto card customers pay with Presto on a TTC bus north of Steeles at some point later this spring. I'm still waiting for a time frame, but as soon as we know, we're going to start to communicate it, because we know it's a very big request we get from customers, and it would certainly be helpful to our operators as well, who are bombarded with when is it coming. So hopefully soon, and as soon as we know, we'll let people know.
Okay, great, thank you. The next question we have is for you, Richard. It's quite a specific question, but it goes like this. How would it work for transit fares? I'm taking York Region Transit, Rapid Transit 18, which goes to Angus Glen Library, and transfer to TTC RT 68 going down Warden Avenue, but the end destination doesn't cross Steeles Avenue. Would I still be forced to pay a double fare?
Yeah, exactly. That it's only traveling in York Region, that passengers, so they're only responsible for the York Region Transit fare. The moment they use that service to pass the Steeles border, whether it's going north or south, that's where the alternate fare is required.
Okay. So I think, yeah, I think in this case the end destination doesn't cross Steeles Avenue, but they're still using TTC and YRT in the same trip. So,
exactly. Yeah. As TTC service north of Steeles is contracted by York Region Transit to operate. And so the platform, we're eagerly anticipating the Presto availability north of Steeles shortly. But in the meantime, we have tickets, paper tickets still available for purchase in the Markham area, and the YRT mobile app options, so that it's not just cash fare.
Great, thank you. I hope that answered. It was Calvin who sent in the question, so Calvin, I hope that answered your question for you. Next question we have is, does the YRT Viva to-go fare discount only to go trains, or does it apply to go buses too?
So the go discounts, the fare integration that YRT has with Go Transit is available on any service. It's had typically been available only through train stations. However, when you use the same Presto card to pay for both services, the fares are harmonized to make it a $1 fare for local transit. So the YRT fare will become $1. And you'll be able to verify this fare information when you look at your transit usage on the Presto website.
Thank you. So the next question we have in is, how does the 18% discount work for full-time post-secondary students who are transferring from York Region into any of the other 11 transit systems?
The discount is only for Go Transit service trips, and so it's the 18% is a reduction off of the adult fares on Go Transit. Post-secondary fares don't exist on York Region Transit.
Okay. Thank you. A question: does the 2-hour time-based transfer in York Region apply to the VNC station?
The moment you start your trip on a York Region Transit service, it starts your 2-hour transfer. So if you were to pay with a ticket or cash fare to an operator or at a machine, you will receive a paper transfer which indicates the 2 hours time limit that you have to use your fare. If you use a Presto card, your fare is noted on the Presto card and your transfer is time imprinted on the Presto card. So as you take your Presto card and travel across the region, it will update your transfer as you tap onto the next service and not require, within that 2 hours, an additional fare.
Okay, so the next question we have is, why does the express bus cost more, and why can't you use your Presto card when going from TTC to YRT when you're going north? So I think there's kind of two questions in one there. I think the first is, why does the express bus cost more? And then, why can't you use your Presto card when you're going from TTC to YRT when you're going north? So we address the express bus cost first, and I think they're probably talking about the YRT express buses compared to the normal YRT buses.
YRT express routes that start with the 300, so 300 or 301, 302, 303, 304, they utilize the 407, and so Highway 407 charges tolls, and it's just represents the additional cost of operating these longer routes, and that's why the fare is slightly adjusted.
And if you address the second part of this question, so why can't you use your Presto card when going from YRT when you're going north?
So you would definitely be able to use your Presto card on any YRT service at the interchange locations, like a subway station. The only limitation that exists are on those TTC routes that extend into your region. And there's a couple routes, and they're all in Markham currently. They're north-south routes, and the issue is about the prices. So you can tap your card to charge your TTC fare on any of those routes, but there's no capability at this time to charge the YRT fare. So think of it as there's only one menu, and you cannot charge two items off that menu. The price list that exists on that TTC bus is only for TTC travel. There's not an additional price list for YRT travel.
Okay, thank you. Heather, do you have anything to add to that?
No.
No? Okay. So the next question is, looks like it's one for Richard again. When do you anticipate the paper fare will be eliminated in York region?
It's anticipated for the summer of this year, but it will require those TTC routes to have the capability set up in advance. So we will only announce the elimination of the utilization of paper once we have the technical solution set up, which we anticipate only to be a couple weeks from now.
Okay. Thank you. Next up, question TTC based one, I think. If taking the TTC subway and then getting on a GO train line, how does the discount apply? So I assume we're talking here about the GO fare. Fare. Is it discounted from the GO train fare?
Traveling between the TTC and GO, you tap on the TTC and your full regular fare will be deducted from your Presto card. When you transfer and tap on GO, the fare will be discounted by $1.50 if you're an adult, or 55 cents if you're a student or senior. And then it's important that if you don't have the default set on your card, that you make sure that you tap off where you get off, or you will be charged the full fare to the end of the line on the GO train.
Okay, thank you, Heather. So next up, TTC is phasing out tokens and tickets. Will weekend and weekly passes be phased out as well?
Yes, and we're still finalizing when we're going to stop selling our tickets, tokens, and passes, likely in and around the middle of this year. And then we will stop accepting tickets and tokens at the end of the year.
Okay. So we have one more question, but if anyone else has got a question in mind that they want to ask and they haven't asked it yet, then please send it in now whilst we're covering this last question that we have right now.
One more thing, just to add on the co-fare, it's between TTC Go and Up Express. So if you also ride Up Express, I guess there's Dundas West Station and other one that connects with Weston. So it applies there as well. There's scenarios on both of the TTC and prestocard.ca websites that walk you through if you're transferring from TTC to Go or TTC to Up, just how you would have that discount applied to your card.
Thank you. Yeah, that's good to know, particularly for people who take TTC to the Up Express to get themselves to the airport. Yeah. So this question is about visitors and tourists from abroad. Do they have to purchase a Presto card if they want to use transit?
Well, I'll go first.
Okay.
At the moment, we only have the plastic Presto card as an option for tourists in Toronto, or the cash fare. Later this summer, we will be rolling out something called a limited use paper Presto card, or LUM. We're going to rename it so it's more customer friendly, but basically it's a single ride card, or you can add a few rides onto it. These will be available at Shoppers Drug Mart as well as from all the Presto Fare vending machines, and that caters to not only the tourist but also just the occasional rider as well, kind of the replacement for our token, so to speak. Okay, great. And that is also what social service agencies like the school boards or hospitals or shelters that would buy bulk purchases of tokens will have the ability to buy bulk limited use paper Presto cards and hand those out to their clients. Okay, great. Richard?
For York Region Transit, we would recommend the use of the Pay app. The Pay app allows you to pay for multiple people on that same account and buy only the tickets that you need one at a time. So the Pay app doesn't require Wi-Fi when you're out at the stop. It only requires a data connection or Wi-Fi when you're purchasing the tickets.
Just a modern way of paying your fare.
Okay. Okay, so this is a question about TTC and tokens. So, can TTC tokens be transferred to the Presto card? And if so, where can I go to have the tokens transferred?
So right now, we are not accepting refunds. So you're going to need to use your tokens app. It is something we are looking at as a possibility of being able to take a lot of whatever the amount of tokens you have and put it towards Presto. But the complication is it's two different financial systems and back-end companies and everything like that. So it's not as easy as, here's my bag of tokens, now put it on a Presto card. So these are some details we need to figure out. Can we do this? Right now we're saying no refunds, but it is something we're looking at as a possibility as we introduce that message that we're no longer selling tokens and here's the time frame you have to use. Okay. So more details may be shared, but at a particular moment in time, the thought process is that no refunds will be accepted.
Okay. All right. I think that's all the questions that we've had that have come in. So this is your final warning or final call. If you have a question, send it in now in the next few moments, and then we'll pick it up and we'll ask it and get it answered. So if you've got a question, type away now. Okay, so I think I'm not seeing any other questions coming in. So I think that's it for today. So thank you everyone for attending. Thank you for sending in all those great questions. Also, thank you to Richard from York Region Transit for joining us, and to Heather Brown from TTC for also joining us today. We will be sharing the slides from this webinar with you all afterwards, so you can follow some of those links that you saw in the slides, and obviously go back over anything that we talked about. So thank you again, and have a good day.